Hello, mathematicians. I am so excited for us to continue our math unit in fractions. And our first lesson today, we're going to be adding mixed numbers. The teaching point today is mathematicians add mixed numbers by using visual models. So our goal today is to add mixed numbers, and we want to be able to convert improper fractions to mixed numbers as well. As we're doing this, we want to keep some vocabulary words in mind: whole numbers, fractions, the numerator and denominator, fractions greater than 1. This is also called an improper fraction. And of course, a mixed number, which is a whole number plus a fraction together. So let's look at our first anchor problem. Remember, when we're looking at word problems, we always want to make certain that we are using solve. All right, so it says Christina bought 5 2/4 pounds worth of red grapes at the neighborhood supermarket. As she was going home, she saw that the green grapes were on sale at a local fruit market on Cortelyou Road and only bought 3/4 pounds of grapes because she had already bought grapes earlier. What is the total amount of pounds of grapes that Christina bought that day? Okay, so I read it the first time, and when I'm reading the first time, I'm reading just for the gist. And so I'm going to read it a second time, and during that second time, I'm using that time to really gather some information from the word problem. Christina bought 5 2/4 pounds worth of red grapes at the neighborhood supermarket. Okay, so she bought red grapes, 5 2/4 pounds. Okay. As she was going home, she saw that the green grapes were on sale at a local fruit market on Cortelyou Road and only bought 3/4 pounds of green grapes because she had already bought grapes earlier. Okay, so she bought some more grapes, but she bought green grapes this time. She bought 3/4 pounds of green grapes. Got it. What is the total amount of pounds of grapes that Christina bought that day? Okay, so they want to know how much she bought in total. Okay, so I'm thinking, since they're talking about total, they might be asking me to figure out the sum of. Okay. All right. So I put my information here. So I use S and O to study. I studied the problem and organized some information. I wrote down the amount of red grapes that Christina bought and the amount of green grapes she bought. And then I know that I need to find out the total amount. So I need to add fractions because it's telling me a total. We know when we say total, we need to find out the amount of items combined. So I'm going to verify my plan by doing this. So I have my 5 2/4 red grapes plus a 3/4. I know that I only have one whole number in this equation, in this expression. And so I brought down the 5. And then I need to add the two fractions. So I have 2/4 plus 3/4. And I know that when I'm adding fractions with the same denominator, I just add the numerator and I leave the denominator as is. So when I came to my sum, I have a whole number plus an improper fraction. And so I need to be able to convert. And we know that convert means to change the form. So we're converting our mixed number, converting our improper fraction to a mixed number. So here's how we're going to do this. So our improper fraction is 5/4. And so we need to convert that. Now, in order to do that, we take that improper fraction and we turn our numerator into our dividend and our denominator as our divisor. So then it'll be 5 divided by 4. And when we do this, we have 1 remainder 1. So I'm going to turn that into a fraction, back into a fraction. It's going to be a mixed fraction, mixed number fraction, and that becomes 1. So we take the whole number that we had, our quotient of 1, and then we take the remainder, and that's going to be the numerator of our mixed number, and we carry the same denominator that we've been using all along, which is 4. So our improper fraction has been converted to our improper fraction of 5/4 has been converted to 1 1/4. So now I need to add back my 1 1/4 to the 5, the whole number that I had originally. So I'm carrying it down. So I have 5 plus 1 and 1/4. And so I'm adding my whole numbers first. 1 plus 1 is 6. And then I'm bringing down my fraction of 1/4. So we have a total of 6 and 1/4. So the total amount of grapes that Christina bought that day was 6 and 1/4 pounds. I also wanted to show you guys how I did this using a visual model. So I drew out some representations of the fraction in fraction bars. And so I have 6 fraction bars here to represent 5 and 2/4 grapes that Christina had purchased. I shaded in the whole bar for 5 of them because we have 5 whole pounds. And then she had 3, I'm sorry, 3 or 2/4. Oh, I'm so sorry. This is supposed to be 2/4. We're going to X that out. So it's supposed to be 2/4 grapes. And then we have our 3/4 of green grapes that she had purchased later on. And so we would add that in. So it'd be 2/4 plus 3/4, and that'd be the fraction, the improper fraction that we had done previously. Okay. Let's look at anchor problem number 2. So in anchor problem number 2, we just have an expression here that we have to complete. And so the expression that we're completing is 1 3/4 plus 3 3/4. So as we did before, we're going to first add the whole numbers. So we have the whole number of 1 and we have the whole number of 3 in these mixed numbers. And so 1 and 3 equals to 4. And then we're going to add the fractions. The fractions have to have common denominators, and so we do not have to change anything here. So the denominator remains the same, and then we add the numerators, which is 3 and 3 equal to 6. Again, we have an improper fraction of a 6/4, so we must convert it. So in order to convert it, we're going to make our numerator our dividend and our denominator as our divisor. So 6 divided by 4 is equal to 1 with a remainder of 2. And the 1 will be our whole number, and the 2 will be the numerator of our fraction. And then we carry over the same denominator that we've been using all along of 4. So the mixed number is now 1 2/4. So improper fraction of 6/4 converts to 1 2/4. So now I'm going to add my whole number that I originally had here, and I'm going to add it to my mixed number. So it's going to be 4 plus 1 2/4. So I first add my whole numbers. 4 and 1 equals to 5, and then I bring down my fractions, and so my mixed number is now 5 2/4. All right. So I want you to take a moment, and I want you to do the active engagement. Take some time. I'm going to pause the video here, and I'm going to allow you to work on this, and then we're going to come back, and then we're going to do the error analysis. Okay, guys. So you should have completed the active engagement. What I want you to do is I want you to post your answer on the page, and so that we can compare answers and have a discussion on how we got to our answers. All right, so let's look at our error analysis. So we have an expression that says 7 5/6 plus 3 4/6. So already we know that the student did something wrong because this is an error analysis. So we need to figure out, what did the student do wrong? Always, before we do anything, we must solve the problem ourselves. So the student has an answer of 10 9/6. So we have that in mind, but now we need to figure out, what are we going to do, and see and compare our answers. So the first thing we're going to do is solve the problem, then we compare the answers. So I went through and I solved the expression, and I first added the whole numbers, 7 and 3, which gave me 10, and then I added the fractions, always remembering that if it's a common denominator, I keep the denominator the same, and then I add the numerator. So I have a fraction or a mixed number of 10 and 9/6. So I'm seeing that I have the same exact answers as the student. So what did the student do wrong? I know that an improper fraction should always be converted to a mixed number. And so I think that's the step that the student missed. So I'm going to convert my improper fraction to a mixed number, and then I'm going to add it to my whole number of 10. So I did that here. I converted my 9/6, and it gave me 1/3/6. And so I'm going to add that to my 10. So 10, I add the whole numbers. 10 and 1 is 11, and then I bring down the fraction of 3/6. So the error that the student made here is that they forgot to or failed to convert the improper fraction. Awesome. So what I want for you to do today, so in order to work on the goal of adding mixed numbers and converting improper fractions to mixed numbers, I want you to set a timer, because this is going to help you plan your time better and not feel stressed if you spend way too much time doing this. So I'm going to set a timer for 30 to 35 minutes. I want you to practice by completing the lessons 30 and 31 in your packet, and then tomorrow, what you can do, you can also log into your Zearn account and complete the independent practice lessons 30 and 31. I want you to remember to use your tools. They're there for you to assist you. You also have myself. You can give myself or any of your teachers a call or send a message. I also want you to peer assess and discuss with your peers over the phone. Give them a call and see how they're doing, and share your responses. And don't forget to always self-assess your work. Double check your work. Think about what you did. Think about, did you follow the right steps? Thank you, guys.